Big news for Falcons fans. Is this the end for Kirk Cousins? Hey Falcons fans, some exciting news just dropped that could change the way this offense looks moving forward. I'll break it all down in a second, but first, if you've been an Atlanta Falcons fan for 17 plus years, hit that like button. And shout out to those who've been cheering since the 70s. It's awesome to see fans of all ages sticking with the team. Now let's talk about something we've all heard before. Kirk Cousins and his famous clerical error excuse. Remember that? It happened after last season's game against the Saints, when Cousins showed up on the injury report but claimed it was just a paperwork mistake. At the time, he insisted he wasn't hurt, just a mix-up. But let's be real. Did anyone actually buy that? Especially after watching him take 3 sacks and get hit 9 times in that game? Here's where things get interesting. The Falcons never publicly backed up Cousins' claim. They didn't issue a statement, didn't correct the supposed mistake, nothing. And that's weird, considering this team has had trouble with the NFL before over injury reports. If it was truly just a typo, wouldn't they have cleared it up right away to avoid getting fined? So why did Cousins stick to the clerical error excuse? Well, here's a theory, and it makes a lot of sense. Maybe he knew that admitting he was injured would have given head coach Raheem Morris the perfect reason to bench him for rookie Michael Penix Jr. Think about it. Penix was already waiting in the wings, impressing the coaching staff in practice. If Cousins had admitted to being hurt, Morris could have easily made the switch. But by saying he just had a bad fall, Cousins could argue that he only needed time to bounce back. And for a while, that excuse worked. Morris stuck with Cousins for 4 more games after that loss to the Saints, even though his performances were some of the worst of his career. But then, it all fell apart. After another terrible outing, Morris had no choice but to pull Cousins and give Penix his shot. And wow, Penix delivered. In just 3 games, he completed 58 of 100 passes for 737 yards, throwing 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. More importantly, he looked calm, confident, and every bit as talented as the Falcons hoped he'd be. As quarterback Mike Hugh put it, the arm strength and talent are definitely there. He's smart. Falcons fans saw it too. Penix was ready to take over. Just like that, Cousins became an afterthought heading into the 2025 season. You have to wonder, how did Cousins feel watching Penix shine? This was supposed to be his moment, a playoff-ready team, a huge contract, and a real shot at a Super Bowl run. Instead, he found himself on the bench, watching the rookie steal the spotlight. What do you think, Falcons fans? Was this the right move? Let me know in the comments. Did Kirk Cousins' injury actually help the Falcons? And let's not forget, this was supposed to be his moment. Playing in his wife's hometown, at 36 years old, this was likely Cousins' last real shot at glory. But fate had other plans. Yes, the injury hurt the team last season, but looking back, it might have been a blessing in disguise. Why? Because it forced the Falcons to move forward with Michael Penix Jr. And from what we've seen, Penix is ready to lead this team. Starting his era sooner rather than later might just be the best thing for the Falcons' future. Of course, there are still big what-ifs to consider. What if the Falcons had protected Cousins better in that Saints game? Could he have led the team to the playoffs and kept his job? Even if Cousins had stayed healthy, should Coach Raheem Morris have trusted his instincts and made the switch to Penix sooner? No matter the answers, one thing is clear. The Falcons have some work to do. They need to clean up their salary cap situation and rebuild trust with the fan base. But with Penix at quarterback, there's a real sense of hope moving forward. So what do you think, Falcons fans? Did Cousins' injury actually help the team in the long run? Should Morris have made the switch sooner? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Breaking news. Could Myles Garrett be headed to Atlanta? Now let's shift gears to some huge NFL news. Myles Garrett, one of the league's top defensive players, has officially requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. And guess what? The Atlanta Falcons are already being mentioned as a potential landing spot. Yes, you heard that right. Myles Garrett in a Falcons uniform. Just imagine that for a second. If you've followed the team, you know Atlanta's pass rush has been a problem for years. Last season, the Falcons ranked 31st in the NFL in sacks with just 31 total. That's near the bottom of the league. In fact, the team hasn't finished higher than 20th in sacks since 2017, the last time they had a winning record and made the playoffs. Now enter Myles Garrett. This guy is a game changer. He's recorded at least 12 sacks in every season since his rookie year in 2017. He was named the 2023 NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Simply put, he's one of the best edge rushers in football. And according to ESPN insider Dan Graziano, the Falcons are one of the top 4 teams that make sense as a trade destination for Garrett, along with the Eagles, Lions, and Commanders. So why would Atlanta be a great fit? Graziano explains that having Michael Penix Jr. on a rookie contract gives the Falcons extra money to spend on star players. Bringing in a dominant pass rusher like Garrett could massively speed up Atlanta's rebuild and turn them into real contenders. After all, elite edge rushers don't come available very often. Now, there are some hurdles. First, convincing the Browns to trade their best defender won't be easy. Cleveland's GM has already said he isn't interested in offers, but Garrett has made his request public, which means there's still a chance. So Falcons fans, should Atlanta go all in and make a move for Garrett? Would he be the missing piece to turn this defense around? Let's hear your thoughts. Should the Falcons go all in for Myles Garrett? The Falcons aren't the only team interested in Myles Garrett. They'll have to beat out some serious competition to land him. So what's the price? 2 first-round picks would likely be the starting point. That's where things get interesting. One of the reasons the Falcons drafted Michael Penix Jr. at number 8 last year was because they didn't plan on picking in the top 10 again anytime soon. Now in 2025, Atlanta holds the number 15 pick, and with the way this offense is shaping up, they could have a top 10 unit next season. So here's the big question. Would you trade the number 15 pick this year and a late first-round pick in 2026 for Myles Garrett? Here's what to consider. Garrett is under contract through 2026, but the Falcons would likely extend him to lower his cap hit. His salary cap numbers, $19.8 million in 2025 and $25 million in 2026. Manageable if Atlanta structures the deal smartly. He's only 29 years old, meaning he could still be dominant for at least 4 more seasons. If the Falcons pull this off, 10-7 might be their worst possible record next season. Adding Garrett would completely transform this defense. Look at the Rams. They finished 10-7 and are picking 26th in this year's draft. That could easily be Atlanta if they make the right moves. Of course, there's always the risk that the deal doesn't happen. But one thing we know about Falcons owner Arthur Blank, he's not afraid to take big swings when the opportunity is right. And this could be one of those moments. So, Falcons fans, what do you think? Is Myles Garrett worth 2 first-round picks? Should the Falcons go all in or stick with the draft? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest Falcons updates. Stay tuned, and as always, go Falcons!